Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jem, and on this channel we do mostly sewing content. And in this video we're going to be talking about 5 sewing YouTubers that I think you should follow. Stay tuned. So as someone who creates sewing content, I definitely consume a lot of sewing content. And so I thought I would share my sewing YouTube wealth with you guys so you could enjoy some of the great sewists over here on YouTube. I'm going to share 5 different ones with you today. So let's get right into it. My first one, and these are in no particular order, is Haley Marie Vintage. I got introduced to her through YouTube probably a couple years ago, but I only recently subscribed to her in August. And I just love having her videos on in the background when I'm doing any sewing of my own. She does mostly vintage content, mostly vintage sewing, and she definitely has her love for gunny sacks. She also does travel videos and vintage and thrift hauls as well. We'll definitely see her cat Spooky in a lot of the videos, and she is one of the few sewists out there who actually talks about the costs and the time that she spends with each make and what that breaks down to the cost of living for her. And she talks about that more in her videos, but it's definitely something that I took over into my practice as well, as just documenting how long it takes me to do things and kind of sharing that information with other people who maybe don't sew or don't know how long it takes to make something or don't know how much it costs to buy the fabric and all of those things. Her videos are super helpful for kind of demystifying that, and I definitely appreciate her videos. The next one is the Craftypreneur. I subscribed to her back during the pandemic times in 2020 when I was getting back into my sojo when I had first moved out here to California, and I found we could not be more different. She is always traveling and going to different fabric stores in different countries. I believe she's based in the UK, but she's always going to different countries in Europe and going to the fabric stores. And I love watching her haul videos and what she gets. We definitely have similar loud fashion styles, and I love just getting to live vicariously through her with those travel vlogs. She also does something that I personally like, which she gets inspiration from Pinterest, from designers or other people, and she goes and she tries to make her own version of that, which I absolutely love. That is something that I'm hoping to do here on my channel, so seeing how she kind of works through her process to do it is very inspiring to me. The next sewing YouTube that I have to recommend to you is Stephanie Canada. So she is a fellow Floridian. I'm not sure if she'd call herself that, but she does live in Florida, which is where I'm from originally. So it's been fun to kind of see the places she goes and see if I can remember some of those. But the reason I love her channel so much is the vintage pattern hauls. I started following her back in 2021 for these vintage hauls. They were prolific. And the reason for that is because she does sell vintage sewing patterns and vintage fabric and vintage notions on her website. And so getting to see these hauls is so fun. Her commentary is great. Her knowledge and her background of sewing patterns and sewing notions and those types of things is vast because she's been doing this so long. So I'm always learning things from her. If you love a good haul video and you're a fan of vintage fashion, I would definitely give her a check out. My next recommendation is Kittenish Behavior. I recently started following her in September of 2023, and I really love her because it feels like you're hanging out with your sewing bestie. I love her lives. I love the content she puts out. She does a lot of long form videos, which is great for me when I'm sewing because I just kind of want someone to be there with me and talking to me. I specifically go Sunday mornings. I wake up really early, not early enough to catch them, but I watch her lives that were just recorded because they just went live, maybe like an hour before I wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I hang out with her and do some early morning sewing. And it's literally just a conversation that she's having with the chat. And it's so fun to be able to just kind of learn a little bit more about her and just hear other people talking about sewing content or maybe not sewing content. But in relation to her sewing content, she is prolific. She has so many videos. She does so many sew-alongs. She's a great resource, I think, out there on the YouTube. And my last sewing YouTube recommendation is the Fold Line. I have been following them for years, although it says I only subscribed this year, which I don't believe, but I digress. The Fold Line is a resource for their company. She sells patterns online, mostly, I believe, indie patterns, but I think they do the Big Five, the Big Four on there as well. And so this is kind of a way for them to share indie patterns that have come out every week, indie books, indie sewing books, all of those types of things every week so that you can kind of get some ideas if there's anything that you want to make. It's my favorite place to go to just to get those resources and to get that inspiration. I don't really get that anywhere else. I'm not a big blog reader anymore myself. I love to consume video content like probably you do as well. So this is the easiest way for me to gather that information in one space. She also does a thing where she goes out onto what they call the high street. We don't have that here in America, so I just assume that's where like all of the posh stores are there. And she goes and sees what they have to offer, what's in the stores, what's on the shelves, and sees what patterns that we can use to recreate those looks, which I love that idea. She also has done different ones where she goes and watches shows and gets recommendations of what pattern can I use to make this outfit or this outfit. I think she did it for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is one of my favorite shows for clothing. So highly recommend that as well. So those are my 5 sewing YouTube channels to recommend to you guys to follow. If you like my channel, you will probably like those channels as well. They're great resources. And I hope that you found this useful. Thank you so much to all my new followers, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks. Bye. Mwah.